Two guys either side of 50 with one dream to achieve middle-aged sporting glory. This is the Missing Links Golf Show. Pilgrims, welcome back to the Missing Links Golf Show. I'm Steve Hinks. I'm joined yet again, 44th time, by Andy Walker. Andy Walker, welcome to the show.
G'day, Mr. Hinks. How are you on this fine week?
Look, I'm good. I'm a bit excited about tonight's episode because it's a little bit different. Something very different, as a matter of fact. Not only have we got a voice of the Pilgrims segment, but the whole episode is in fact through the voice of a pilgrim.
Well, given that our own golf has been, certainly mine has been pretty limited.
Yeah, well, you're kind of letting the side down just a little bit with this.
Yeah, over the past couple of months, feel as though listening and living vicariously through someone else might be a
I think it's the go.
What do you think?
I think it's the go. So to all of the other pilgrims that are out there, this is going to get confusing if I keep this up. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, we had an email come through to the inbox and it says this. It's titled G'day from Canada, which is an exciting start. And it says this from Pilgrim Mick Paterson. Over in Toronto. Says, "Hi Steve and Andy, just wanted to connect with you guys as I've found the show and been listening for some time now. I found you through the connection with Josh Nichols and his podcast. We did thoroughly enjoy catching up with Josh. I've really been enjoying the show and I draw a lot of comparisons between you both and myself and what I'm trying to do with my life and golf game." This is a bit of a common story, Andy Walker. Mick says, to give you a little background, I've lived just outside Toronto, Canada for the last 16 years, but I'm originally from the New South Wales Central Coast, just down the road from Andy Walker.
Local boy.
Yep. I grew up down the road from Shelley Beach Golf Club, and that's where I played my junior and into my mid-20s golf. I think I probably had about 8 to 10 years away from playing other than twice a year and spent those years travelling and living in different places. When I moved to Canada, that is when I started getting back into golf again. So I am an Aussie at heart, living in the cold, cold world of Canada. It's got to be tough. Although it's lovely through the summer with the hot weather. Like you guys, I have a wife and family, 3 kids, 5, 8 and 10, and a career that I'm trying to balance all while trying to attain middle-aged sporting glory, as you guys put it. I think it's how we all put it, Mick.
It's a familiar story. I'm not quite sure I've heard it before. I've heard it somewhere.
It gets familiar. I turn 49 next week. It's not easy.
So a young bloke.
Younger than me. I do have a high performance centre in my garage.
Nice.
Putting mat in the basement, and I can chip in the backyard. Fantastic. There is no outdoor.
So can he chip when it snows?
How different do you think playing out of the snow is to, say, a bunker shot?
I reckon if you're playing in the snow, having a white golf ball may be an issue.
Maybe you go with one of those yellow jobbies. I don't know. But, I mean, I'm assuming that you'd have to kind of splash it like a bunker shot, wouldn't you? Out of the snow?
Yeah. I mean, sort of like a water shot. You occasionally see sort of like Jean Van der Velde tried to, well, he didn't try to play
He didn't
that.
actually. He thought about it, but
he thought about it.
Yeah.
But it would have been pretty similar to that, I'd expect.
Yeah. Maybe it's a question we should ask. I usually play in a couple of indoor team comps during this time to keep me moving. I dipped my toes back in a competition last year in a better ball team event here run by Golf Ontario, like Golf New South Wales. Did not good, but got a great experience nonetheless. This year I ramped up my competitive play joining a competition called the GTA AM Tour. That sounds fancy. Where they play a tournament somewhere within about 3 hours from where I am every week. I'm only playing 3 events this year. I'm not a member of a club as it's very expensive here. I'm currently sitting at a 4.4 index and dropping as the year goes on. That's pretty good. The most exciting news, Andy Walker, he says the most exciting news is that in May I qualified for the Ontario Mid-Am, which is taking place next week.
Nice.
I only went in the qualifier for experience in another competitive event, and I finished 4th and qualified. The event starts on Monday next week. Wish me luck. Which we did. Not only did we wish Mick luck, we also said once you've played the tournament, you're coming on the show and you're going to tell us all about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what is happening in this episode. So
strap yourselves in, people.
Yeah. So basically, let's go and let's get Mick on the show and hear how he actually went in the Ontario Mid-Am.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Andy Walker, this is a very exciting moment. We have got our first genuine pilgrim on the show joining us as a guest. So I'm going to introduce him now. We've got Mick Paterson. How you going, Mick? Welcome to the Missing Links Golf Show.
Great. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, mate, it's so good to get you on. Andy Walker, what do you think? Pilgrim on the show.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And what I love is he's actually almost a local from the Central Coast of New South Wales, which is obviously my stomping ground. Love that you're from the Central Coast and you've obviously made the move across to Canada and spent a fair bit of time over in Canada. But yeah, love the journey. Sort of a man after our own hearts, and with a similar outlook and similar aims.
Mm. Yeah, so that's a good place to start. I think, Mick, we might throw it over to you. Take us through, who are you? Where are you from? How have you ended up in Canada? And most importantly, how long have you been listening to the Missing Links Golf Show?
Why don't we start with that? I think, I found you guys through Josh Nichols.
Yep.
And I was listening to his podcast, and it's the podcast that you guys did with him. Like, I feel like it really resonated with me and where I am with life in general and golf, and trying to balance life and work and family and wife and golf and trying to fit that all into what our sort of our busy lives. It's tough. But that whole podcast really resonated with me. But me, I grew up on Central Coast. Nice. I played my golf at Shelley Beach, which was formerly Tuggerah Lakes, probably when I played at it many years ago.
Yeah, I've only played Shelley Beach once, and it was Tuggerah Lakes, so that was probably 30 odd years ago. So yes, I can vouch for that.
I played it last Christmas. Just saying, most recent down there, still looking good.
You know what? I came back a couple of years ago and I tried to play, but it was just nonstop raining and I couldn't even get on the course. But yeah, I crossed Central Coast. I moved to Canada in about 2008 with my wife, who I met traveling around Europe, as you do when you're living overseas. She's from Canada, and she spent a few years in Australia, and then we moved over here 2008. And yeah, that's about it.
That's awesome. Such a common story, like Aussie guy, travels the world, meets overseas girl, brings her to Australia for a little holiday, and then she says, hey, look, if we're serious about this, then you're coming to live with me in my town. So well played. Well played. Look, before we get to that, I'm interested in your golf background. Actually, you talked about you grew up playing Shelley Beach. It's actually a really nice golf club, and they've really good clubhouse there now as well. They've got a great restaurant in there, which is worth checking out next time you're back in town. But tell us a bit about your golf background. Like how long you played for, what sort of level are we at? Who's Mick on the course?
I think I started probably dabbling as a kid, maybe 7 or 8, and my family and cousin and dad used to get me out on the golf course. Sort of maybe had a few lessons in that 11, 12 range, and then played like with a bunch of friends during high school, and wasn't a member of a golf course anywhere. And then joined up at Shelley Beach, maybe 16, 17, or maybe 15, 16. And then and started playing there, and was lucky enough to play on the, I was number 8 on the junior pennants team, but I played on the junior pennants team for my last year, which was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And then just kept playing probably to my early to mid 20s, and then I sort of moved away from the game and went traveling, went over to Europe and lived in Ireland and England for a while, and traveled around, and then came back to Australia for 3 years with my soon-to-be wife, and then didn't really pick it up again until I got to Canada. And then we had a few friends over here who played golf and played good golf, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to get back into it. And I got a new set of clubs and got back into golf over here. And then it's been a bit of with kids at varying different ages, it's been a roller coaster of how much golf I've played, depending on how many kids and what ages they're at. I've got 3 kids now. They're a bit older. The youngest is 6, so it makes it a bit easier now to get out. But over those earlier years, it was not easy to get out and play golf. So my handicap, I've kept a handicap over here. I'm not a member of a club, but you can keep a handicap as a public player. And so I've just been doing that, and it's sort of gone up and down over the years. But I've been on a progression probably for the last 2 years, or since 2022, probably to improve and start to get better and let's play some better golf. I think my index at the moment is a 4.5. At the beginning of 2022, I think I was at 10.8. And so I've been on a progression trying to get better to play some more competitive golf and have some fun.
And I mean, how like talking about a common story about an Aussie bloke traveling overseas and meeting a girl and then sort of going back to her hometown, how common, and obviously with us as well, you know, you play a bit as a junior, you know, you reach a certain level where you can play pennants, and then sort of it falls away as life takes over and kids and family and all the rest. But how good is it? You sort of coming into middle age and you start playing again and start improving because you've got all these years of experience under your belt.
Nicely put.
Get down into single figures, and now you're sort of ready to start playing some senior events, I believe, and sort of man after our own hearts.
It's pretty great. It's fun. Like I haven't. It's difficult to play like competition golf over here. I think that, but what I do love is I love that feeling of walking off the first tee and you're walking down the fairway and there's some nerves and there's some excitement, and like that's the part that is really exciting for me, and just that feeling of being alive and just having some fun.
Oh, you're spot on, and you know. It's interesting when you were answering the first question and you were talking about that you found our show through the episode that we did with Josh Nichols, because we had Josh on our show originally and then we ended up going on his, and that was because the very first conversation that we had with Josh, and he's a dad with a newborn, and he's just really starting, like he's in the thick of it, right? Like he's just starting to understand the reality of what parenting does to your ability to get out on the golf course. But that conversation that we had around trying to balance all of those priorities of your life between work, family, sport, and various things, it blew us away how much that's resonated with so many people. Because we started this podcast as an opportunity for the two of us realistically to get together and talk about golf once a week, and also as a prompter for us to get out and play more often and, you know, to hold us accountable. What we didn't realise that it actually wasn't the golf stories that was really hitting the mark with people, but it was this constant struggle as middle-aged guys with so many life pressures and so many responsibilities, but you're still trying to pursue something for you. It's so good to, you know, to meet people like yourself and to understand that journey is something that, or that pilgrimage, I should say, is something that so many other people are on, and all of us are kind of juggling that in our own ways. So good on you for getting out there and continuing to fight the good fight, Mick. It's inspiring for people, I think.
Yeah. Hopefully it's something people can do, and something I'm going to continue to do, and see where it takes me.
That's the thing. Now, you did mention that there's a few differences between playing golf in Canada and playing in Australia, particularly around this competition element, because I think there's some differences with the US as well. And I'm not sure where Canada sits on this spectrum, but I know for a lot of people we talk to in the US, there's not that many club comps that you can get involved in. So there's a lot of waiting for member guests or, say club championships and whatnot. What's it like for you in Canada?
Yeah, I think there isn't, and I'm not a member of a club, so it's difficult for me to say. I carry a handicap, and I just play a bunch of public courses, or catch up with friends who are members of clubs, and go out and play with them. Not necessarily member guests or anything like that. Just more of a guest invitation, and out you go. It's a massive difference. I think that there is these private competitions that go on, which I did do maybe 12, 13 years ago. I did a couple of competitions through this. There's this group, they're called the GTA Am Tour, and they go around and they play a bunch of different courses around Ontario. It's really great. They're really great competitions, and we get to go to really great golf courses and private golf courses, and it's really awesome. I think the big difference for me is that golf is expensive here in general, compared to what it's like in Australia. I think both memberships and sort of cost of these competitions. But that's the big thing, and I think that's also, there's another Australian guy that I know here he's a teaching pro, and he said that's the big difference that he finds, is that it's just there's no club competitions, and there's people just go out and play with their friends, and that's what golf ends up being, mostly for Canada for sure. And I don't know what it's like in the US, but yeah.
So is it then similar to the US where you don't have to play in competitions to be able to record a handicap round?
Correct. Yeah, you can play your casual rounds to record your handicap. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and do you need another person to mark your card, or is that just you can enter your own score?
You enter your own score. It becomes the honesty system.
Yeah, see, this is interesting. This is answering a lot of questions that we've been talking about, because as you probably recall, in Australia, you can only enter scores for handicap purposes in club competitions, or things that are obviously, kind of official under the golf, in our state at least, Golf New South Wales rule. So that changes the game a little bit, which is tricky. But I think, we have often said how fortunate we feel that we can play in a competitive round of golf every week. There's a comp on at the club every week, which is awesome. Speaking of competitions...
It's multiple competitions that are on. I mean, certainly at my home club, there's, it's Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Like 4 days a week, you can play in a club competition. So yeah, they're very different to what it is in North America.
Mm. Speaking of competitions, which is where I was going to go. Too quickly, though, it appears. So I've got to ease into these things, to slow down, ease into it. You, in the email that you sent to us a couple of weeks ago, you were gearing up to play in the Ontario Mid-Am. This is exciting, Mick. This is a big deal. This is actually, Pilgrims, why Mick is on the show, because we've had a few little conversations over email, but we need to get an understanding of what's happened in this tournament. But I think before we go to the result, maybe just talk us through, how did you find yourself in this tournament in the first place?
That's a good question. I signed up for the qualifier just for the sake of the experience. And it was at a public course that I kind of like to play. And I just thought, just go for the qualifier just have some competition experience, and just I didn't even look to see where the tournament was. I just signed up and went for it. That day is a story in itself, but it's I was dealing with I have to deal with a 4-hour weather delay. I was sitting in my truck the whole time. Ute.
Nice.
But I with a 4-hour weather delay, some guys got out early and they got rained off the course and they were soaked. And then we eventually got out, and it was blowing a howling gale, and went out and shot a great round, finished fourth in the qualifier, and made it to the mid-am. And then had the mid-am coming up.
All right, now let's just pause for a moment, because we've got to set the scene here for everybody listening along at home. So you've out of the blue qualified for this rather large tournament, right? How do you feel at this point? The nerves pumping? Like what's going through your head?
As soon as I qualified, I was excited. I was like, there's some shouting and some fist pumping going on.
Nice.
Leading up, I was nervous, and I was like, I felt a little bit out of place, to be honest. There's like the quality of the amateurs in the field was pretty high. Like the guy that won had spent a year on the Corn Ferry Tour, for example.
Yeah, wow.
So,
okay. Yeah.
I was there for the experience. I was there to learn about my game at the end of the day, and that was what I wanted to. My takeaways was learn about my game in a pretty high pressure situation and a high good tournament, and see what happens, and then take those lessons away for future tournaments and things like that. So that was my main goal of going to the mid-am.
It must, though, make you feel pretty good, though, Mick, to be able to go, all right, well, yeah, I'm just in it for the experience, but you've been able to jump in and perform with fairly limited, you could say, over the last sort of few decades, that you haven't had a lot of golfing and competition golfing experience, and you've been able to go there and perform and qualify for a pretty big effectively a state tournament.
It's awesome.
I was really blown away when I did it. I just like I said, I didn't even look to see where the main tournament was. I just was going into it for experience and to walk away. There was 14 qualifying spots, and I finished in fourth, and so it was it was a really good feeling.
So not only just made it, like did it easy. Very comfortably as well.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was nice.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we're preparing for the main event. Okay. So just explain to me how long between this qualifying event and the mid-am did we have? Are we talking weeks, month or so?
Yeah, 2 months. It was like end of May to end of July.
That's got to be the longest 2 months going for a long time, like for anyone. I would think. It
was a long 2 months. Yeah, it was, but it wasn't too bad. I think I had a good prep. I had a good. I was able to get enough rounds and enough practice in that I thought was good, at least to be where I could perform at the best of my abilities anyway.
So 2 months. I was just going to say 2 months. It's almost enough time for a complete swing overhaul in preparation for a big tournament.
Definitely, there's no swing changes going on. That's for sure.
Yeah, smart man.
So did you actually get to play the event course just to have a bit of a look around? Had you played it before, or was it a new course to you?
New course. So it's about 4 hours drive away from my house.
Okay.
So it was,
that's a fair trip.
Yeah, and there was a practice round on the Sunday, so we got to do a practice round and go around and have a look. Other than that, it's just preparing through looking at apps and aerial shots and trying to play your way around from that perspective. They never do the sort of
doesn't do it
see the
justice, does it?
elevations.
Yeah. That's true.
See how up and down it is from looking straight just down on top of it.
Yeah.
It's difficult. But yeah, no, it was a new course, 4 hours away, and it was good.
All right, so we're getting to game day, and in the build up to game day, was it a Saturday Sunday event? Is that the? Or?
It was the event was Monday Tuesday.
Practice round on the Sunday,
and then final round on the Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay, so and you took a caddy, is this right? Mate of yours went up to carry the bag.
Did, he came for the Sunday and the Monday. Yeah, he came for the practice round and then the and round one.
Yeah, is this someone that you trust, Mick? Have you put someone on the bag that you've got a lot of faith in their game, or is this did he step up and really look after you, or are we pointing the finger here?
No, he did. He really did great. He was awesome, and he definitely helped me get through the. Well, we'll get to those details later, but he helped me get through the tournament. No, he's a really good friend, and we actually play. Well, I feel like it's called something different in Australia, but they call it a better ball competition here, which is there's just two of us. It's a team event. You just take the best ball.
Yep.
And so we played the qualifier last year. We're playing a qualifier again in about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And he's a good friend, good golfer.
Very good. Weirdly enough, it's often called a 4-ball in Australia.
That's what I thought it was called too.
Yeah. Don't understand that when it's a 2-player best ball.
Yeah.
As opposed to the scramble that we talked about last episode. Beautiful game golf, very confusing, doesn't make any sense. It's clearly invented by the Scottish. So we love our Scottish Pilgrims as well, so please don't take that the wrong way. So let's get to the course. You've done all the prep, you've done all your homework, you turn up on the Sunday for the practice round, and Mick, what happened?
So even I'll go back another couple of days. I started getting ready for the trip, and I started just a little bit tired, and stomach wasn't feeling great. I'm just like, is this nerves? Is this like what's going on? And then it got worse as it was the Friday into the Saturday. Sunday practice round, still not feeling great. I'm normally a walker, dedicated walker all the time, but I'm just like, I think I've got to take a cart. I feel really tired and I don't feel great. So we took a cart and got through 9 holes. It was an effort to sort of walk to the tee box, walk to the green. And then I don't know how to deliver it tastefully, but
eloquently.
I think how you delivered it at the course was probably as eloquently as you're going to do it.
I did deliver it at the course. But I'd say that I was really grateful that the toilet wasn't too far away.
Oh, no.
So it was, and then it started coming out.
Oh, no.
So that was, got through the practice round and and then that night wasn't great. Not a lot of sleep. Up and down a bit. Got up in the morning, tournament day, and I wasn't sure I was actually going to play. I was like, I think if my buddy hadn't been there, I think I would have probably withdrawn. But he's like, no, come on, he went down and picked up some stuff from the chemist and got the drugs into me, and which helped. It definitely helped stem the flow.
Man!
But
I tell you that is my nightmare. That
Absolute
is my
nightmare
on a golf course. Like it's just that there's nowhere to hide.
No.
Like
no.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
No, it's so bad. It's so bad.
So, but anyway, I carried on struggling. I didn't even I barely had a warm up. Like I swung a few times, maybe spent 10 minutes warming up, rolled a few balls on the green, and then went out for the round. And just didn't. It was hard getting food in. It was hard getting sort of any sort of. But I was trying to get Powerade into me. It was just It was
wow.
It was awful.
Oh, it's so disappointing.
Yeah.
But did you get through the round, Mick? Tell me you got through the round.
I got through the round. There was a point, I would say probably around maybe 13 or 14, where I'm just like, oh, I'm done. I nearly walked off. I was just like, I'm done. I was tired. I couldn't swing.
Well, I suppose you don't want to swing too hard, do you? I mean, like the extra effort.
No, you do not. No, you do not. But yeah, my buddy who was caddying for me, he's like, we got the last 4 holes. He's like, come on, let's just finish the last 4 in even and see how we go. And so I ended up finishing the last 4 in 1 under, which was nice. I made a birdie and 3 pars.
Oh, that's amazing.
I don't know how I did that, but that was nice.
So we do need to talk about scores for the rest of the round as well, Mick, because it's not a 4-hole.
It's not a 4-hole event.
as much as we'd like at this stage to say, yeah, it was a 4-hole event and 1 under and I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Actually 18. So give it a rundown of the first day's score.
Well, the first day's score was 89, which, that's not what I would typically shoot.
Yep. Par 72,
so
I'm assuming.
You've played the last 4 holes in 1 under to shoot 89, to break 90.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
That's awesome.
I'm assuming that you weren't necessarily aware of that at the time, though. You're just probably focusing on one foot in front of the other at this stage.
Standing vertically. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was really the middle. The first 5 holes when I started was pretty decent, but that middle 9 holes was just so hard to get through. It was really hard. It was double after double after double.
Mm.
Maybe a triple. I can't remember if that's a triple, but there was. Yeah, it was awful.
Oh, tough day out.
I think I had my playing partner. We got to 1 hole, and my playing partner, he's like, "How's your electrolytes?" And I'm just like, I don't know. Like,
They're non-existent.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I had a Powerade and an energy bar, which might have helped me, but yeah, who knows?
I don't know that there's much that's going to help you in that situation. No. Bit of a tangent, but I do recall a trip to the UK once that I was making for work, which from Australia is a long way. So I thought I'd stop over in Hong Kong and see my brother-in-law that was living in Hong Kong for a couple of days. And I got on the plane for the second leg from Hong Kong to Heathrow, and somewhere over the top of Russian airspace is where it hit, and exactly what you went through. But the problem was, Mick, in this flight, when you've got the bank of the 3 or 4 seats in the centre of the plane, like I was right in the middle, and the guys on either side were either watching a movie or having a snooze, and they're going, I'm not making it to England. This is not going to happen. It's the worst feeling in the history of the world. And I think on a golf course, when you've qualified for an important event, you're so excited. There's been 2 months of build-up. To be struck down like that on the day of the event is just cruel and is unfair. But good news is you're looking thinner, so that's a win.
That is true.
Anyway, so end of round 1, where were you sitting in the field? Did you have any idea at that point? I'm imagining that it's probably not in great shape. Yeah,
I think I was like 5th last out of 144.
Yeah, disappointing. Yeah. Disappointing. And probably no partying that night, I'm assuming.
No. no, that was the intention, was to not to party, but to, just go out and have a good time with with my buddy. You got time away from the family as well. Like
Totally.
the wife and kids aren't there, and
yeah. Everyone loves a golf trip. Yeah.
yeah. So
probably in bed by 8:30.
Yeah, if not earlier.
Yeah,
it's definitely horizontal earlier than that. Yeah.
Wow.
Mate, what a shocker. So did you turn up for round 2?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that's impressive. That is impressive. And how are you feeling on the morning of round 2? Any improvement?
Yeah, there was improvement. I didn't have the energy levels that I had. Yeah, I wasn't as low as the day before, but I was still struggling and still took a cart. But it was, I felt better. I was without a caddy for the second day as well, so
Oof.
I was on my own.
Wow, trying to find that motivation from within. So talk us through round 2. How did we start off? What was the first 9 like?
Good question. I don't really remember my 9 breakdown. I should have had a look. But the first hole was great. I ended up I hit a fat hybrid and then another fat hybrid, and then it was a par 5. Then I hit a 7-iron on the green and made the putt for birdie. So that was a nice start to the day.
Nice.
I love the honesty.
There's nothing like hitting 2 fat hybrids and still making birdie.
Yeah.
The only thing that would have made that slightly better is if the 7-iron was really thin. Like you caught the ball halfway off. Oh wow!
Yeah. And so I was off to a good start. But then.
Well, I mean, this is a good start because you've gone 1 under through the last 4 holes on day 1, and you're 1 under after 1 on day 2. So you're -2 through 5 holes through this patch. So you've got the hot hand on the course, I imagine, at this stage.
Yeah, well, it was the birdies on this course were a lot of the good, even all the really good guys. There was the greens at this course were really tough. They were like really sloped front to back. Oh, sorry, back to front. And I wouldn't say they were the quickest. Probably if they were any quicker, the balls would run off the green. But they were all the greens were sort of perched and runoff areas, and they were tough. So that was the story of the week, was the greens.
So what was the course? What was the course that the event was played at?
It was called the North Bay Golf and Country Club.
North Bay. We'll have to check that out. Andy Walker. Bit of internet research. All right.
So being the 1 under through the last 4 on day 1, birdied the first hole, were the leaders looking over their shoulder going, "Oh, here comes like this bloke. He's on fire."
Yeah, because he's up to 139th now.
They were
racing up the leaderboard.
They were definitely panicking. There was I could see some sweat on the brows. It was, they were. Their boots were shaking. It was,
Excellent. Scoreboard pressure. There's nothing like scoreboard pressure.
Oh, it's almost like Tiger making a run on final day of a major.
Exactly what it is. Yeah. What it is.
Yeah, you're wearing a red shirt, obviously, Mick. Was that the go?
Yes, let's go with that. I was wearing a red shirt.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, and for anyone that's listening to the podcast and not watching it on YouTube, the likeness of Mick and Tiger Woods is uncanny. Should say that without laughing. That's very unkind. It's almost like talking to the great man himself. Anyway, massive digression. Hole 2. Back to you, Mick. Take us through it.
Yeah, hole 2. Hole 2 was a little different. It was a long par 3. Came up short. Chipped on. 2-putt. It was bogey.
Shame. Gave it straight back.
Yeah,
fat again off the tee, or just club choice?
To be honest, I think I just tried to hit a little fade in, and it faded a little bit more than I wanted to, and ended up a little bit short right. And it was the right club. Just contact, I don't think it was what it should have been. But
I think these days that's classified as an overfade.
That's what I describe it as when I do it. Yep. Overfade or overdraw. We don't use the word slice or hook anymore in the Missing Links Golf Show.
No,
it's
definitely not.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, overfade and overdraw. That's all we do.
Yeah.
Yep. So, all right. So we're even. We're even. On to the third. We're not going to expect you to remember hole by hole, by the way, but it's fun whilst you can.
No, I've got the scores up in front of me, but yeah, then it was a couple pars, then a double.
Oof.
Another couple pars, a bogey, and then a par to close out. So 39 on the front.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Was that three over?
Three over, yeah.
Three over, yeah. Well, that's a decent recovery after the first day's events. That's a pretty decent front nine for the second day.
I tell you what, if you put that together on day one, you're 3 over after 9 on day one, you'd be high-fiving yourself, I would think, in a competition like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
That's a good start.
Yeah, I think my goal before everything happened, my goal was to just try and shoot in the 70s. My goal was to try and make the cut. That was my main goal, which obviously I was a long way from, but making the cut would have been doable with 2 decent rounds.
Mm-hmm.
But the cut was like, I forget what it was. It was like plus 10. So I would have had to shoot like a couple of 77s or something like that. To make it.
It's good golf.
Yeah.
So what happened on the back nine then, round 2?
The back nine was more even. It was really just pars and bogeys, 4 bogeys. Ended up with a 40 on the back. And shot
so you've
79.
broken 80 the second round, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a good round of golf.
Yeah. No, I was happy with that. Yeah.
And look, I have to say, in tournament conditions, because I'm assuming you're playing off the back tees, tough pin positions. Rough would have been longer than what it usually would have been. You've had a pretty rough first day. To then come back and shoot 79 the second day, you must have been pretty happy with that, Mick.
Yeah, I was very happy, given how I was feeling, and given to be in that tournament. I think there's a lot of prestige to it, so around it, like at least around here in the amateur circles here. So it's I was happy.
So then, do you feel as though, because you mentioned sort of at the start when you were qualifying that you sort of felt out of your depth and you didn't really belong? Has that changed now? Because it seems to me like, rough day because you weren't well, but you held your own on the second day. So to me, that seems as though you've got to, you deserve your place there, and you should. You should sort of, feel pretty comfortable in that environment.
Yeah, I think I do now. I think even leading up to it, there's I'd say there's definitely a bit of self-doubt sort of creeping in about am I good enough? Am I, can I pull it together? Knowing I played with a couple of different guys in the practice round, and you just sort of get paired up with whoever for the practice round, and they were both really decent golfers, and they were nowhere near the top of the leaderboard, and neither of them made the cut, but I was shooting comparable to them, and they were like 5 shots better than me from a handicap perspective. So I felt decent from that perspective, that I was able to compete with these guys that have a much lower handicap than I, and if I could redo time and redo the way I felt, I would have had a much better time. But yeah, it's just sometimes life just gets in the way and prevents these things from happening. So,
but I mean, one of the things that you really need to be able to do in competition, especially if you're going and traveling, your game needs to be transportable across different golf courses and different conditions, and that's the thing that I think that if you're competing against and staying up with guys that are 4, 5 shots lower with your handicap index, that says to me that your game is transportable in tournament conditions, which again, should give you a fair bit of confidence, moving forward.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. It's been so long since I've been a member of a golf course. I think a lot of people get into their rhythms with their own golf courses and things like that. And I've always, since being in Canada anyway, I've always been like I'll play one course one week and one course the next, and I'll move around, and so I'm constantly changing that condition and that environment, and I think that can only benefit me in the long run for when you're
for sure
going around playing tournaments at different courses and being able to adapt as you go. So
totally agree with that. And that's absolutely one of the sort of issues with being a member of one course and one course only. Definitely getting out playing a bunch of different tracks is always the way, and certainly something that we try to do a fair bit of as well ourselves. I mean, I spent quite a while in living in Sydney. Similar story. Being a member of golf clubs in Sydney is very expensive and very challenging. So rather than doing that, being part of a social club and playing a different course every couple of weeks. And I think it's good because it does mean that you've got to turn up and actually assess the conditions that are in front of you on a given day rather than play from memory, which is definitely a skill that you need in tournaments, that's for sure. So I'm interested though, Mick, in, looking back on this now, you've had, a few weeks to kind of reflect on the experience. And aside from trying to remain fit and healthy pre the next tournament, which has got to be at the top of the list, but what would you say is some of the takeaway lessons that you learned out of the experience? I guess a bit of self-belief and overcoming imposter syndrome is probably one of them.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think that it may have only been really today since we've been talking that I've sort of realized that, and with those questions from Andy there before, just that I do have the ability to be there and I do have the skill set to be there and compete. I think that's definitely a big takeaway.
Yeah, you wouldn't know it from looking at him, but he's a pretty insightful guy at times.
Thanks, mate. Mate.
We use that term loosely around the Missing Links Golf Show. Yeah. But it's a big one. It really is a big one because that sort of can help you relax in the next experience and unlock that skill set so that you're not kind of overcome by the moment. When the next time around, it's just that little bit easier.
Yeah, and I think, like I said earlier, I like that feeling of being nervous.
Yeah.
Being on the first tee and getting off and that excitement of getting into it. But I feel like I felt that leading up to the tournament, but I felt so awful at the tournament that I didn't even have that. I didn't have the energy to have that going off the first tee. And I wish I did, but I just didn't have the energy for it. But it was, I think I really enjoyed being part of a big tournament like that, to be able to have that experience and be there. And so feel like you're actually competing at a level that's, really high, and being able to just experience that and feel what it's like. So now I can build off that for the future, and maybe other tournaments won't feel as daunting after that tournament, but who knows?
Yeah, and we talked about it. I think it might have been last week that we spoke about the fact that you put yourself in that position more often, and you can look back and go, that was a great experience, and part of my learning is just being there, and even though you weren't that well, you still had the experience and was able to build some confidence from it. But then you put yourself in that position often enough, in those tournament conditions, in difficult, competition grade events, and you then play just in a normal, whether it be just a normal sort of local senior amateur event, or even in a playing for a couple of bucks with your mates in a social event, and it you're used to being in that environment, and it doesn't seem as daunting, and you've built that experience and that confidence in yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
So for the Pilgrims out there listening, I think there's going to be quite a few people now that are on the Mick Paterson bandwagon, and they're going to be jumping on the is it the Gin or the Gin app or whatever it is over in the Is it the same in Canada as in the US? I'm not even sure.
No one's.
Yeah. Oh, that's the US golf handicapping app that they use. So maybe it's a different one in Canada.
Yeah, golf Canada.
Yep. People may want to jump on there, follow your progress, track you around the various mid-am tournaments. My question for you though, Mick, is what's next? What's your next challenge on the horizon? Where can we expect to see you pop up?
I am with my buddy who was it came up for the caddy to be my caddy at the mid-am. We are going to go in what they call in Ontario the better ball competition. So it's a qualifier for the better ball tournament. And it is in early September. And so we're going to go and compete at that. We tried to qualify last year, but neither of us played very well. But this year we will give it another crack and see what happens. And then beyond that, I just have another tournament at the end of, I think it's end of September, early October. And then that's my season, my competitive season done, because we have a very, very short season here. But
yeah, that's true, because you get the snowy winters. Makes it a bit difficult to play golf.
Yeah.
Look, that's exciting. I like the sound of the better ball contest. It'd be great if we had that in Australia, Andy Walker. We could take the pairs competition by storm, I feel. But
we could.
But it remains.
There is the foursomes. So I know that we've talked about the New South Wales Senior Amateur foursomes. That is the prelude to the New South Wales Senior Amateur. So that could be on the cards next year. We'll
give that a shake next year, no doubt about it. It's fantastic.
Alternate shot, a little bit more difficult than better ball.
Yeah, that's a fact. I think that's the competition. You've got to make the agreement that you're not going to apologise before the round.
No, So sorry's just not part of the vocabulary.
You reckon you're any good? Get yourself out of that. So, no, anyway, we digress. It's not about us, Mick. It's about you. But I love your story. And I think thank you so much for getting in contact with us. We love hearing from the Pilgrims. This is a bit of a first of actually getting one of the Pilgrims on the show. First of many, hopefully. We love hearing the story. And absolutely, we all could feel the heartbreak of getting struck down by the dreaded stomach flu on the morning of your biggest tournament. So good on you for getting through it though, mate. I think that's an amazing effort and you should be very, very proud of that, without a doubt.
Yeah, thanks. It's it was tough, but we toughed it out and got through, and I got a nice story to tell.
That's fantastic. And I know you're a busy man. You got to get the kids to camp, I think it is, at some point this morning. Andy Walker, have you got any more questions for Mick before we let him go about his daily duties?
No, I think that's about it. I mean, look forward to hearing how you go on the when you get into the senior events. I know you're doing the mid-ams at the moment because you're still a young bloke. But what is 50? Does it senior start at 50 in Canada?
No, they start at 55. But I'm
okay. So got a few years to go yet.
Yeah, got a bit of a run up.
Well, you'll have to come over to back to New South Wales because New South Wales starts at 50. So next time you're sort of around town, then look us up and we might see if there's a local senior event that we can enter and play in.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think there's definitely a trip back on the cards shortly. So cool. I will definitely.
Maybe we'll organise a reunion round at Shelley Beach.
I do think the Shelley Beach Senior Amateur is coming up fairly soon.
It is.
I think that might be next month.
Yeah, if
you're around the Central Coast next month.
If I was a little bit older, I'd be putting my hand up for that one. But being a young bloke like Mick, us two young whippersnappers on the show, can't quite get there.
Yeah.
So
you got to build up the experience level to be able to play in the senior events.
Still working on it. Anyway, Mick Paterson, thank you so much for joining us on the Missing Links Golf Show. You're a legend. Keep up the great work. Keep flying that Aussie flag over in Canada, and we're going to keep in touch, no doubt. Love your story, legend.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for the show. It's it's been great. I've really enjoyed the episodes, and keep it going. It's been great.
Awesome.
Thanks, Mick. We'll talk soon.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Andy Walker. How about
what
that?
a story.
Oh,
what a story.
Oh, Mick. Oh, I mean, there's just so much out of that. Like, firstly, how robbed would you feel? You know, like, you don't get many cracks at these sorts of things. And to end up getting struck down with the dreaded stomach flu. Just unfair.
Yeah, but look, I mean, and as we talked about, I mean, glass half full, I think you've got to look at it from a perspective of, you know, overcoming adversity and not giving it away, not giving up. Could have very easily, as he said, walked off the course after 13 holes, but stuck at it, 1 under through the last 4 on day 1, feeling like, well, pretty ordinary. It's safe to say.
Worse than pretty ordinary.
And then coming back on day 2. I mean, that's great. I mean, I thought that was a great story.
Massive respect to the man. Massive respect for finishing that round on day 1. Like, he must have been hurting so badly. Yes. So badly. And obviously not putting together a score that he wanted to put together as well in an important tournament. You know that that you cooked and you're not going to make the cut at that point. So pretty easy to eject, but he didn't do that. He stuck at it. He stuck at it, and credit to him. Like, I think that's a fantastic effort.
Yeah. And again, as we talked about, he's going to be able to take what he's done there and move forward with that through other events, mid-amateur events, and then obviously it's 55, the senior start, and he's going to be able to take those experience and build on it and know that he's got game, know that he's got the courage to be able to punch through whatever challenges he's got.
Doesn't he though? Doesn't he? No, it's a massive effort, and I love the fact that that's also one of the great things about this show. That we've stumbled across a guy on the other side of the world who's going through exactly the same stuff that we've been talking about week in, week out. Trying to do the never-ending juggle between all of those commitments of family, work, golf, etc. Living the dream. Like, really, he's out there trying to play tournament golf as well, which is awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And having a crack. It's one of the cool things about this show. There's so many people that are in similar journeys, similar pilgrimages in their own way. And if these conversations can bring a few of those guys together and girls, that's what it's about, Andy Walker.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, golf is very unique in that respect. Is you're able to play competitively from quite a young age right through until, Ted from Mollymook's 83 and still playing competitively. So
amazing.
You can, and there's that whole pilgrimage all through your life that you can take with you. You can meet some amazing people. I mean, golf, not only is it a great sport to play, it's a teacher of, many, many lessons that you can take into life and apply those in life. And, I think we're in a very unique and, we should be grateful for the opportunities that we've got to play this great game.
I want to maybe try and find some inspirational music to put behind that little speech that you made there, Andy Walker. I'm getting a bit emotional myself. But you're right, though. Like, there's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff that comes out of it. But as I say, it's easy to lose sight of some of those things when the pressures of everyday life comes along. I feel like one of the unexpected, real benefits of doing this show has been some of the conversations that we've been fortunate enough to have with other guys about what they're going through as people, not necessarily just as golfers. And the role that it plays in giving you sort of that mental that really good mental outlet, that work-life balance and something else to focus on, because it's the sort of game that is as much mental as it is physical. And, you're constantly having to learn, constantly having to improve. You've never got it mastered. And there's always a challenge. So it's, I think it's a lot of fun. We can just end up having a love story to how good golf is if we're not careful. But, stories like that for Mick, I think is just really cool to know that there's a lot of other people out there doing the same thing.
And how good's the High Performance Centre? I mean,
I love that he's got one. It's so good. It's so good.
And what's great with with the High Performance Centre Central Coast is that my wife is actually now recognizing it as a high performance center. Whenever we're talking about it, we don't talk about the garage. We talk about the high performance center. I mean, how good is it?
We had a similar conversation at home on the weekend because in Australia, Father's Day is coming up in the not too distant future. The question was from the kids was like, "Oh, Dad, is there anything that you want for Father's Day?" And I feel quite fortunate to be able to sit here and say I actually can't really think of anything. And they were trying to prompt me and said, "Do you need anything for the High Performance Centre?"
Love it.
Oh, it was awesome. So maybe I do. I'm not sure what though.
I'm sure you'll find something.
There could be training added.
There could be some. There has to be some addition to the High Performance Centre.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. It's got to be. Yeah, anyway, I mean, it's how far can you go? What's the budget we're talking here, kids?
Well, and that's the other thing as well. I mean, there's plenty of launch monitors out in the world there that get quite expensive. So
projector, screen
could be an upgrade from the
R10.
From the R10.
The R10. The R10's good. It is good. Anyway, there's a whole lot that could go on. But Andy Walker, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that chat. Mick's a legend. Too. We're a big fan. I hope he continues to do well. I hope he does well in the Better Ball contest.
I hope he keeps in touch too. I mean, it'd be great given his background is local to where I am. I mean, I hope at some stage he does get back over here and we'll get out and have a game and we could have a live broadcast between the three of us. That'd be awesome,
mate. I can see the Shelley Beach Missing Links Invitational coming along at some point. I think there'll be a few people that might put their hand up to get involved in that. For sure. We definitely can see that happening. But yes, anything else that you want to cover before we wrap up for this evening? That's been a groundbreaking episode.
Yeah, look, I think we've covered a fair bit, which probably, I've got some stuff coming up, some injury updates, but we might sort of leave those until next week. So yeah, I think that, we've probably covered enough tonight.
Sounds good to me. Which means there's only one thing left to do, Andy Walker, and what might that be?
Rock out, Pilgrims.
Thanks for listening to us today. For more content, you can find us on Facebook at the Missing Links Golf Show or on Instagram at Missing Links Golf. You can follow us on X or Twitter at TML Golf Show. You can email us directly via the Missing Links Golf Show at Gmail. You can even send us a text via the button in the show notes. We love to hear from our pilgrims, so please get in touch, or better yet, leave us a review on your podcasting platform of choice. See you next time on the Missing Links Golf Show.